Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on Monday, December 15th. I hope everybody had an absolutely phenomenal weekend. So happy to see all of y'all today. All I can say is, what a weekend of NBA basketball. And y'all already know, since it's Monday, we got to start off with the winners and losers in today's episode. Before we get started, let me just break down what we're doing. We're gonna talk about an injury. We're gonna start off today by going through one of the most recent injuries in the NBA that we got to talk about. I'm sorry, we got to talk about it. I know it's not good, but we have to talk about it. Okay? Then we're gonna go over the NBA weekend winners and the NBA weekend losers. I hope you all understand that by me calling your team a loser, it does not mean that you are a loser forever. It just means you are the loser of the weekend. I apologize to the Miami Heat. You guys have been graced with this privilege of being a loser of the weekend for the last couple weekends, but you're not a loser of the weekend this time. Okay? And then we're going to be talking about, we're just going to break down that stuff. Today's going to be a semi-easy episode, and then tomorrow's going to be a little bit more in-depth, but I do want to talk about some trending storylines at the end of today's episode. Okay? Before we get started, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and a review. If you're watching on the YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, be sure to drop a like, follow, subscribe. I know you can't leave a like on Twitch, so just sit back, enjoy, look handsome. That's all you got to do. Twitch stream is the best stream. If you guys want to go to any of these streams, we do these live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Pretty easy to follow. We do it Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. But next week, I got to remind y'all, there are no episodes. No episodes next week. I've been warning y'all for a while now. There are no episodes next week because I am going on a vacation. Okay? So it'll be the first ever podcast we missed since we've started doing this thing. So be sure to tune into these episodes. And again, if you do miss any of the episodes, they're on YouTube, they're on Apple, they're on Spotify. And we will be posting some short form content on the YouTube and TikTok channels as well while I'm gone. Okay? So I'd say let's stop all this waffling. We've been doing it for about 2.5 minutes. Let's just get right away in to today's podcast. All right? Starting not with the winners and losers, but starting with an injury. Another calf strain. Cavaliers forward Evan Mobley, Mr. 19-9 himself, has suffered a calf strain, and he will be sitting out for 2 to 4 weeks for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I would like everybody to just understand one thing, right? Evan Mobley has not been playing the way that a lot of us expected going into this year. I feel like everybody sort of went into this year expecting him to have some sort of leap. Some would compare him to a Jalen Duren, who's getting a bigger leap than Evan Mobley has ever had in his NBA career so far. Now, Mobley's 24, Jalen Duren is 22, and I think already into this season, I think a lot of people around the NBA would say that they'd rather build around a Jalen Duren duo with a guard than an Evan Mobley duo with a guard. I got to be honest, as a Pistons fan, I'm willing to say it with my chest that yes, I would rather have a Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Duren or a Cade Cunningham and a Jalen Duren rather than having an Evan Mobley. I was honestly expecting something along the lines of exactly what Based in the Twitch chat just said. I was expecting a 23-11, a 20, honestly, 25, if you want me to be fully honest. I thought he'd be jumping into this season, realizing that Kenny Atkinson said that he's not doing enough. I figured that something would have changed, and yet nothing really did. Nothing really did. He's still not touching the ball in clutch time. He's still shooting below 50% as a big man. Okay. His 3-point percentage is 35%, and it's dropping every week. And his defense is not looking like the previous defensive player of the year. He's averaging a block and a half, but honestly, I don't really see him impacting much shots down at the rim. And I'm watching a lot of Cavs games. He is going to be out. And now that this is happening, I feel as though Kenny Atkinson is on the hot seat. And I'd like to say for my Cavs fans out here, are you regretting firing JB Bickerstaff? I'll tell y'all this. JB has full on saved the city of Detroit. He has full on saved the Detroit Pistons. And I think firing JB was a little bit premature for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I love this question in the Twitch chat, right? As you guys know, all my podcasts and all my episodes are interactive, and I try to keep all the comments I read out loud flowing with the show. So most comments I read out loud are involving the topic that I'm actually discussing right now. And I love this comment from my homie Skylar in the Twitch stream. He said, "Do we think it's a performance issue or a system issue?" I'm going to tell you straight up what I believe. This is a system issue. I've been watching the Cleveland Cavaliers for the last couple seasons, and it looks like that the Cavs sort of just gifted their souls for last year's regular season success. As you guys remember, they started the season 15-0 last year. I believe it was the best start in franchise history, and this franchise has been here for a very, very long time. So when I tell y'all that something's wrong with the system, I genuinely mean it. Last year, and I've said this statistic so many times this season, and I really implore you guys, there I go again with that word implore, to listen to this stat again, because it's not one of those useless stats that you just hear. Oh, like this guy's the first player to get 92, like it's not that kind of dumb stat. Listen to this. All last season, the entire regular season, Evan Mobley in the fourth quarter wasn't even in the top 100 players in usage percentage rates. You're telling me 115 players around the NBA is getting more touches, more usage in the fourth quarter than an Evan Mobley? How can that be your number two? Hell, that's not even your number three. If you do the math and you look at every single team in the league and you look at 3 players from every single team in the league, do the math, y'all, 30 teams, 3 players. That's 99 players, right? Sorry, math? That's 90 players. No, 90 players. Okay, 90 players. And he's still not even in that top 90. Still not in that top 90. He was rated 115 last year. So when you look at this team and you look at the system, I genuinely believe it's a system issue. And I see somebody in the TikTok saying Ty Jerome was here to carry last year. Ty Jerome hasn't even played a regular season game for the Grizzlies. So when you look at these stats, the reason why I like advanced metrics is because they tell a bigger story than just looking at the regular season stats, right? Because you look at his stats and you think, oh yeah, this is a good player. But then you realize that he has to be their number 2. And then you're like, oh wait, that's not great, especially when you look at the rest of the roster. Now, I've told y'all this stat multiple times this year. If Donovan Mitchell does not score 35 points, and the Cavaliers have no chance at winning the game. Anyways, I am starting off by talking about the wrong things about the Cavaliers. I got to stop myself because right now we were talking about Evan Mobley's injury. I hope he gets better. And I don't know if 4 weeks you're even going to have him back in 4 weeks. I got to be straight up honest with everybody. A calf strain in today's NBA, especially as a 6'11" big man, I think they might take 5 to 6 weeks to bring him back. That's my belief. I think they should take as much time as they can with Mr. 18-8, technically 19-9 right now, because they're going to need him. They're absolutely going to need him. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the Cavaliers themselves because they are one of either the winners or losers of the NBA weekend, okay? So that's Evan Mobley's injury. I hope he gets better, okay? So let's go ahead and start off. Let's get a little bit more positive here, y'all. Let's talk about the winners of the weekend. Yeah, they should not mess around with those calf strains. They should absolutely not mess around with those calf strains. Okay, let's get into the first winner of the weekend. I think y'all already know, right? Y'all already know who my number 1 winner of the weekend is, right? Everybody knows, right? The San Antonio Spurs toppling the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, let's have a genuine talk about the San Antonio Spurs team, right? And I told y'all, man, I told y'all. This team is so far ahead of schedule. They're so far ahead of schedule. Let's just delete that game from the weekend and just look at why I predicted this team the way they are, okay? Without Wemby, without Victor Wembanyama, they went 7-3. They went 7-3 without Victor Wembanyama. You go back to last year, they were going 3-7 at best. If all the stars aligned, they were going 3-7 at their absolute peak. This time around, they went 7-3 without their defensive force. You know why? Because they have an actual team now. They have actual defense. They have an actual system. They're actually improving together. Mitch Johnson has now a full season where he can actually be the head coach of this basketball team. It wasn't like the whole thing with Greg Popovich getting sick, having a stroke. No, he came into the season expecting to be a coach, and now he actually got to write up a system of his own. And it's working, y'all. It's working. They are 7th in points, 10th in rebounds, middle of the pack in assists, steals, blocks. With Wemby, all of these numbers are going to jump up. But the fact that they remained constant and consistent without, sorry, did I say without Mobley? Without Wemby. You have no idea how dangerous this team is going to be. Let's just look at the game that happened over the weekend, ladies and gents. Let's look. If you look at the starting lineup, Harrison Barnes, 0 for 8. He had a horrible game, 2 for 10. That was his worst game of the season. And then you look at Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, and Stephon Castle. You're probably wondering, wait, where's Wemby? He came off the bench for the first time in his NBA career. 22 points for Stephon Castle, efficient shooting. 22 points for De'Aaron Fox, efficient shooting. Devin Vassell, 23 points. Wasn't all efficient, but he hit those shots when it mattered. And then there you can see his name at the very bottom of the screen, Victor Wembanyama, a plus 21 on the court. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 6 for 11 for the field, and 9 for 12 from the field. Now, I want to talk about how big Wemby was in this game, literally and figuratively, how big he was in that night's game, okay? Victor Wembanyama, it was like down, I think, to 5 minutes left in the game. He was on a minutes restriction. They said he only was allowed to play 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's it. He gets 20 minutes, and that's it. It's his first game back. We're not rushing Wemby, and they did exactly that. They weren't tempted by winning this game against the defending champions. They just did their thing and managed until Wemby came in, okay? The moment Victor Wembanyama came in, this game was over. This game was over. The San Antonio Spurs have just shown how to take down the defending champions. They showed us what it takes to defeat this team. You know what that is? Having a 7'5" alien anchoring your paint. Surely every team in the NBA can replicate that, right? Victor Wembanyama is not just a difference maker, ladies and gentlemen. Watching this guy play, and mind you, he got how many free throws that night? He got 12 free throws. And I can tell you, he should have had 12 more. Anybody else? Anybody else here love Wemby, love the Spurs? Before everybody's going to start turning on them and hating them because they're going to be so good? As soon as he touched the floor, guys, as soon as he touched the floor, it was over. He came back, and then the Spurs just buried them. That was it. That entire end of the game, by the way, I would like to point out something special that I was noticing, that I hope all of us were noticing. Guys, remember when I said Victor Wembanyama was getting fouled the entire end of the game? The whole last 5 minutes, he was just getting hacked, right? Do you know who was guarding him? Do you know? Alex Caruso. Now, you might be wondering, Jay-Z, what do you mean Alex Caruso? Why was he guarding him? Weren't the Thunder bringing in Chet Holmgren when Wemby was playing so that Chet can guard him? See, that's what I thought. That's what I personally believed. I thought Chet Holmgren is leading right now in the FanDuel voting for DPOY. I was told that Chet Holmgren right now is the favorite for winning DPOY since Wemby's not going to play the 65-game minimum. That's what I was told. That's what I've been told. Everybody's been telling me that Chet Holmgren, he's having an incredible year. Nobody can take that away from him. Just saying that right now. I was told that he's going to win DPOY. So why is the favorite for DPOY not guarding the actual favorite for DPOY? I'm very curious. It's weird. Why was Caruso on him? Now, I'll tell you guys why. From a basketball mind, right? For me, watching basketball, right? I love this game. This if you love basketball, this is a great game to watch. I'm going to tell you why I believe they had Caruso on Wemby. Guys, if you were watching this game, not box score watching, what did you notice what Wemby was doing? Did you guys notice the moment Wemby was catching the ball on offense? Do you know what he was doing? His goal was not to shoot. His goal was to just barrel down to the rim, right? Now, how do you barrel to the rim? By putting the ball on the floor, correct? So every time Wemby put the ball on the floor, swipe from Caruso, swipe. I think Lou Dort got an insane block on Wemby near the end of the game. It was just all of a sudden swipe, 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 swipe. They were reaching at Wemby every time he touched that ball, okay? Every time. So I think what they were trying to do was to prevent him from getting into the hoop. They put one of their wiry guards like Alex Caruso, like Lou Dort, on him instead of a Chet Holmgren. Now, I think next time you're going to see them mix it up. I think Chet will guard Wemby. I think they were just testing things out. I think at the end of the day, every team right now is just testing this team out because we don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? So I think right now, what we are seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very, very important, okay? Let's all sit and marvel at how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are, right? But I think we found their weakness, guys. Genuinely, I think we found their weakness. I want to remind y'all that last year, there was one team in the West that took the Thunder to 7 games, and it was the Denver Nuggets. You know who their best player is, right? It's Nikola Jokic. Now, you can do if, ands, or buts all day, every day, right? You can do that. But the Nuggets were missing Aaron Gordon. They were missing Michael Porter Jr. And again, I got to repeat myself. So the TikTok actually, TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, I got to cut myself off. I apologize. I feel like TikTok only listens with one ear. I said there was one Western Conference team in the West that took them to 7 games. That's what I said. I didn't say one team took them to 7 games. TikTok, if you guys are annoyed with all the rest of the morons inside the TikTok stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. I would love for y'all to come through, get away from all the ignorant idiots over there in the TikTok and come through to the Twitch stream where we have a bunch of like-minded individuals that know ball. If you want to get involved in the conversations, be sure to swing on into the Twitch, Jay-Z Uncut on the Purple app. The link is also in my bio. So Aaron Gordon was obviously out against them in that series, and MPJ was playing with a shoulder injury, as we all know that. Now, I want to reiterate something that I'm noticing in the Thunder. Their big man problem seems to be pretty, it's not glaring, but it is something worthy to note. Wemby is obviously Wemby. No team can actually guard that man. Jokic is obviously Jokic. Nobody can guard that man, right? So when you look at that team, right, and you look at their weaknesses, it is down low, believe it or not. It is down low. And from what I'm noticing, they either have to be tall and lanky like a Wemby or just big and an immovable force. So now when you look around the NBA, let's name 3 centers in the NBA that you look at and you say, oh yeah, if they figure it out or on a good night, they are virtually unstoppable in the paint. There's only 3 players that I could see in the NBA right now that in the paint, they are virtually unstoppable. And that's because of height. That's because of finesse. That's because of footwork. That's because of strength. That's because of a lot of things. Now, I'm going to lead off the charge by saying Jokic. I think he's just undisputed one of the most talented basketball fans in the entire world. One of the players in the entire world. I think he's just undisputed one of the best. Wemby, because he's so damn tall and now he's gaining that footwork, right? And then I would say Giannis or a Jalen Duren right now. And they all are prolific at different things, right? You can't say Embiid when healthy. He'll never be healthy again. So I think the 3, if you want to limit it to what I was actually describing, would be Jokic, Duren, and Wemby. Thank you, Quay, in the Twitch chat. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, let's look at those 3 archetypes, right? Jokic, his footwork, his finesse. He can score on anybody down low. Wemby, his height, his finesse, all of that makes him unstoppable in the paint. Jalen Duren. I'm glad people are noticing. If you guys have gone up against the Pistons this year, right, you'll have noticed one thing about this team. And it's that when Jalen Duren is involved, and Jalen Duren has a full head of steam, or he's just in the paint. He is parked in the paint. He is pushing any big. He is pushing any singular big. Now, his biggest issue right now is putting the ball on the floor when an Alex Caruso is on him, for example, right? So this is what I'm noticing about the Oklahoma City Thunder. This dates back to last year as well. Something I'm noticing is that their interior presence is somewhat weak, especially when you have a stretch four on the court like the Nuggets had, like the Spurs had. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Now, before I move on to our next winner of the weekend, I would like to just say something directed at the TikTok stream, guys. There's a guy in there named Jordan, and his name is spelled wrong, saying that I am insulting the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's saying that they're so good and I'm calling them ass. We lose by 2 and he's talking about weakness. Guys, can we all agree for Jordan, just to stroke his ego a little bit? The Oklahoma City Thunder are the best team in the NBA, arguably one of the best of all time. Is that what you needed, Jordan, in the TikTok stream? Did you get the attention and the comfort that you needed? You lost one game. Let the NBA talk about it. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the San Antonio Spurs and why they are the winner of the weekend, okay? You guys are the winner of the weekend every weekend. Let's talk about other basketball teams. Okay, Jordan? You guys are the back-to-back. You guys are defending champions. None of us care. You guys are the best team in the league. Let us talk about young and up-and-coming teams. We don't need to talk about the best team in the NBA all the time. Let's talk about other fun storylines. Thank you. I would like to give a special shout out to Benna Adams and Jumped Seal. Shout out to you beautiful individuals for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate everybody who gets away from Jordan and comes through to the Twitch stream. OKC fans, I don't know why why are you guys so defensive about your team? We all are telling you, you are the best team in basketball. What more do you need from us? Why are you guys so sensitive? You guys are the best team in the NBA. You guys are the best. Stop being sensitive about your team. You guys are the best. Stop being sensitive. Everybody, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Jump Seal, Adams, we appreciate y'all. Shout out to you goats for coming through to the Twitch stream. All right, that's why I have my Spurs being winner of the weekend. They're looking good, man. They're looking very, very good. And I honestly think that you do have to somewhat say that Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle are on the untouchables. And I think Devin Vassell is growing on me day in and day out. It's a thing of beauty, man, and I love it. The San Antonio Spurs move on into the NBA Cup Finals, which is tomorrow night. And I'll tell y'all the team that they're versing because they are my next winner of the weekend. The New York Knicks. Let's talk about them, y'all. The New York Knicks are the hottest team in the East right now. They have won 5 straight. 5 straight. 5. They're playing well. They're beating okay teams. They just beat the Magic again. Safe to say that Magic fans were celebrating a whole lot just to get smacked by the Knicks twice. Now, we'll be talking about the Magic later briefly, not too much. The New York Knicks right now have looked night and day different from last year's season. And I have stated this so many times over and over and over and over and over again. But right now, they're not playing remotely similar to last year. Let's just look at all their stats together, right? Jalen Brunson has completely flip-flopped his game. And I mean that literally. Jalen Brunson used to only turn up in the fourth quarter. It seems like he sort of gave those genes to Cade Cunningham, because Cade used to only turn up in the first half and not be good in the second half. Now, Cade Cunningham typically doesn't do much in the first half other than facilitate, and then goes crazy in the second half. Now, Jalen Brunson is doing the same thing. Jalen Brunson is dropping like 15 to 20 points in the first quarter every single game, burying the teams early and playing absolutely brilliantly. 40 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 16 for 27 for the field, 9 free throws, not even the most free throws on his team, because Karl-Anthony Towns, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 for 11 from the field, and 9 for 10 from the free throw line. It's very fun. It's very fun. Now, Magic fans are going to come in and they're going to get salty, like my man Marked Ghost in the Twitch stream. He said team is overrated with Franz, Magic win. And don't worry, we'll talk about you guys because you are definitely not a winner of the weekend, Mark. In fact, you're not a loser, but I mean, if you're not a winner, right? So, talking about the New York Knicks and why they are my winner of the weekend, just look at these three guys. Jalen Brunson, 40 points. Karl-Anthony Towns, 29 points. OG Anunoby, 24 points. Hell, let's even look at Mikal Bridges, 16.7 for 13. They were all efficient. Now, let's just think about this statistic very quickly. You guys want Giannis, right? I'm not a believer. Don't do it. I think right now what we're seeing is that Tom Thibodeau, shout out another coach, Doc Rivers, who still has his job, somehow after losing by 45 points to the Brooklyn Nets. Tom Thibodeau, and I've been preaching this for a decade now, Tom Thibodeau and Doc Rivers are two of the most overrated head coaches in NBA history. Two of the most especially Tibbs, who has never won anything, ever. At least Doc has the 08 title that people treat like it's 10 titles, okay? Tom Thibodeau, all he's good for is turning an average team above average. He can't turn a team into a champion. If this team trades for Giannis, I will be incredibly disappointed because right now, all they need is more bench scoring. Now, they're without Deuce McBride, okay? They're without Landry Shamet, and a lot of people are forgetting how well Deuce really is playing this year. Deuce is averaging 12 points off the bench. 12 points off the bench while shooting 45% from deep. So for a Magic fan to come in here and say, if we had Franz, we would have won. I just don't see that because they're missing 12 points a game off the bench from Deuce McBride, and they're also missing 10 points off the bench from Landry Shamet. That's 22 points a game that they're missing right now. So when you look at the New York Knicks right now, they have to be your winner of the weekend because Mike Brown does it with every team he's the head coach of, ladies and gents. He does it with every single team. Look at the Light the Beam team. That one singular season, they were swinging that thing like there was 10 basketballs on the court. And with what Mike Brown is doing right now with Jalen Brunson, with Cat, with OG, as long as Cat is dialed in, this team is so different. It matters with Cat. This team will not win a championship if Brunson has to do all the carrying. They will get absolutely embarrassed. They need Cat to be dialed. There's a reason the Knicks beat. Well, there's multiple reasons why the Knicks beat the Detroit Pistons last year in the playoffs. And that's because Karl-Anthony Towns did his thing, man. I was at the Little Caesars Arena. I went to games 3 and 4. I flew up there. And when you looked at this team, when Cat is dialed in, they're the best team in the East. And they are arguably a top 2 team, top 3 team in the NBA. When the Big Purr is dialed in, you notice it very clearly. We'll see what happens. But right now, staying on the topic of the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson has been doing his thing. But from what we've all noticed, most good teams are not letting him play much. Because the moment that they get any sort of lead, they start following him. You know? Now, I'll talk briefly about the Orlando Magic. Y'all better do some prayers. Stay up at night. Seriously, get on the side of your bed, get on your knees, and do some prayers. Because these weeks without Franz, if you guys got something to cover Paolo Banchero from all the tomatoes that are about to get thrown at him, be sure to go and protect him. Because Paolo is going to get the brunt of this blame. Okay? I've said it a million times over. Paolo's not a number one. Not now. Not yet. And it was pretty apparent in that cup game. It was pretty apparent watching that game and seeing how they were going to Anthony Black in the fourth quarter, how they were going to Desmond Bane in the fourth quarter. Why is Paolo not touching the ball in the fourth? Oh, I know why. Because he can't create his own shot. And he can't create shots for others. So Paolo Banchero still had, and if he had a decent game with 25 points, 8 rebounds, but he was 0 for 7 from 3. He cannot create his own shot. He is not a threat from the perimeter. And that's why you have Desmond Bane, Anthony Black, and Jalen Suggs all dominating from the court in the fourth quarter. And of course, the Magic fans, I'm prepared for them to say, hey, he just got back from a major injury. It wasn't a major injury. He was out for 3 weeks, was 4 weeks max. It was not a major injury. What you guys need to realize is that Franz Wagner is more of a number one than Paolo Banchero is more of a number one. This team's flowing differently when Franz is at the helm and when Paolo's at the helm. Because at least Franz is a threat from the perimeter. He's a threat to create his own shot, and he's a threat to maintain an offensive scheme that actually flows. Paolo Banchero is a ball stopper. He's a ball stopper. There's a reason they weren't going to him in the fourth quarter. I want Paolo to succeed, but I have shown y'all season after season after season that neither of these guys can be a proven number one yet. Not yet. And I don't think the Magic will ever trade one of the two. I don't think. Because they don't want to be the one that traded a Paolo Banchero. They don't want to be the one that traded a Franz Wagner, and then they go and succeed elsewhere. But something that Magic fans need to just acknowledge. I've been preaching 1A, 1B. I've been preaching this. So anybody that doesn't listen to me, you're showing your true colors. I've been preaching 1A, 1B. Now the issue lies that they use Paolo Banchero as an on-ball player, okay? Which means he's going to either take a bad three and miss it, or he's going to pull up for a midi and miss it because he's got some of the lowest percentage from shooting from the mid-range. Then not just that, when he drives into the hoop, he's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. So just drive to the hoop. Now, if Franz has the ball, Paolo's where? He's in the corner, he's at the three-point line. Not a threat. Not a threat. He's just not. So I'm just telling y'all, as an unbiased fan, the Magic need a point guard, or Paolo needs to get it. He needs to develop a shot, or until then, he needs to acknowledge that he just does not have a jump shot. I don't care how many times this guy wants to shoot threes. At some point, you have to realize, bro, not this year. You're shooting 26% from three, and I know it's still early into the season, but he's a career 31% shooter on no attempts for his career. Now he's attempting a bunch, and he's not hitting them. And I will like to say as well, Paolo's body language, even pre-injury, that's not a number one on my team. That's not a number one on my team. Paolo is going to only get better. He is. But if this is going to be the structure of your team, of having a Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero big three, they're not going to see much playoff success. And you want to tell me that he steps up into the playoffs? I'm not denying that. But how many series have they won? If you're telling me that he's a bona fide playoff guy, how many playoff series have they won? To my knowledge, they're 0-2. Am I correct, or are they 0-3? Somebody's going to have to fact check me on that. Or I can fact check myself if you just give me an extra second to look. Let's see. He is 0-2. And it went to 7 games 2 years ago against the Cavs. That's really good. The Cavs suck in the playoffs, so is it really good? And then they lost, I think, in 5 to the Celtics last year. Yes, they did. Okay, let's move on, because we were talking about the Knicks being a winner, right? The Knicks are the winner. I've talked about the Knicks so much. There's really not much more I could say on that team, except for watch out, man. Watch out. Because once they're fully healthy and once they get Deuce and they get Shamet back, they're going to be even more scary. Straight up. I mean, I'm excited for tomorrow's game. In case you don't know, it's the NBA Cup Finals. So the winner of that game, each player on the team wins $500,000. Okay? So shout out to the Knicks. They did their thing. I'm very excited for that game tomorrow. I'm very excited. I think everybody should be excited. So that's why the Knicks are my second winner of the weekend. We've been staying long on winners. We got to move on. So we have a final winner of the weekend, and I got to roll with the Detroit Pistons. Now, I have not talked about the Pistons in what feels like 3 weeks. I have not talked about them, like, at all. Okay? Not talked about them. So you'll save that comment for a little bit later. Okay? Because I like staying on topic with, like, what I respond to. So again, shout out to everybody that's leaving the TikTok stream and coming to the Twitch stream. Guys, be sure to swing on in. If you guys want to get involved with people that actually know ball, please and thank you. Come through to the Twitch stream. Link in my bio, JZ Uncut on Twitch. Come join the stream. Talk to a bunch of ball knowers. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So swing on in, get away from all the TikTok brains, and come through to the intelligent individuals in the Twitch stream. Now, the Pistons. I haven't talked about them in weeks. Genuinely, look back at all the episodes. I have not had a segment to just talk about the Detroit Pistons. Now, I'm not going to talk long on them because they're just the winner of the weekend. They only played 1 game, but they were 1-0, right? I just want to show y'all something so cool about this win that the Pistons just had. The Pistons had 8 players score double digits. That's right. 8 players scored double digits. Duncan Robinson, 15 points. Ausar Thompson, 12 points. Jalen Durham, 14 points. Cade Cunningham, 15 points. Ronald Holland, 12 points. Karis LeVert, 10 points. Isaiah Stewart led the game in scoring, 17 points. Javonte Green, 9 points. Jaden Ivey, 10 points. Dennis Jenkins, 8 points. I wish my fiance had shut the blinds because now my dog is barking. I'd like to apologize to everybody that's listening right now because my dog is barking right now. Let me throw my brush at my door to see if that quiets him down. Sorry if that noise scared anybody. Hopefully that scared him enough to stop barking. Okay, so the blinds are closed. He's just barking to bark. So that's my lovely dog. So the Detroit Pistons played one of the most beautiful games I've seen. Genuinely, like one of the most beautiful basketball games I have ever witnessed. The Pistons were up by like 35 points at one point, and they won by 30. They won by 30, okay? So with what the Pistons did to the Atlanta Hawks, I just want to show somebody, like, and do we have any Hawks fans in here? Any Hawks fans? Do we have any just I want y'all to hear this. In case you guys don't know, Jalen Johnson went for another triple-double, okay? This is why I tell everybody who watches the box scores to actually watch the games. Because if you looked at the box scores alone and you just heard the report that the Hawks put out saying, hey, by the way, I'm a big Jalen Johnson fan. He's an all-star, arguably most improved. I love Jalen Johnson. I want to talk about this very quickly. My box score watchers, Jalen Johnson got a triple-double that night, okay? And they tweeted that he got a triple-double. I just want to show y'all, he was playing, right, 34 minutes. He played in a blowout. They were down by 33 points, and Jalen Johnson was still in. The moment he got a triple-double, they pulled him out. Now, he had 19 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, minus 25 on the field, okay? He had 4 free throws, 1 for 6 from deep. Now, I want you to pay attention. 7 for 19 from the field. He had a horrible game, an abysmal game. And I want to show you why. Because of this man guarding him. Ausar Thompson, now that he's got his conditioning up, he is a different Ausar Thompson. This guy is completely, I hope you guys watch tonight's game of Pistons versus Celtics tonight. He is completely changed. He needs to be first team all defense this year. Otherwise, that award, that accolade means nothing. Ausar Thompson is arguably the best on-ball defender, point of attack defender in the NBA right now. I'm not exaggerating. Knicks fans, you guys remember last year, he was doing extremely well on Jalen Brunson until JB Bickerstaff pulled him out because of his conditioning, because he had blood clots last season. I hope you guys understand. He was battling those blood clots all last season. His conditioning was not right. He was averaging like 15 to 20 points a game. 15 to 20 minutes a game. Now he's playing 28 and he's still getting back from an ankle injury. So he's still getting back from an ankle sprain. And he's still playing on a whole nother level. He's getting conditioned. He's getting right. And what I watched that night, I hope you guys go like back and watch some condensed highlights of that game. He had Jalen Johnson in prison. I was actually starting to feel bad for Jalen Johnson because he couldn't do anything. He could not do anything. When Ausar was on Jalen Johnson, he was settling for threes, and that's why he was 1 for 6. So that's why the Pistons are my final winner of the weekend. I could talk all day about this team, but man, they just did their thing. They did it by committee. They did it all together. Cade Cunningham like tweaked his shoulder, but we were up by 20. So they just said, come on out. You're done for the night. So he didn't even have to do anything that night because everybody else did something. Everybody played well. Everybody. Even Jaden Ivey, he's coming back. He's playing well, 5 for 8. Marcus Sasser played his most minutes in a game this season because he was out with a hip impingement. But yeah, man, it's awesome. Great win from the Pistons. That's why they're my final winner of the weekend. Mind you guys, they are 20-5. There's only 2 teams in the NBA with 20 wins. It's the Thunder and it's the Pistons. I'm a Pistons fan and I'm just geeking. I'm geeking. Okay, small winner of the weekend. I'm not going to talk about much about them, but I just want them to understand that I am watching. Pelicans, I'm watching y'all, man. You guys won 2 straight. Shout out the Pelicans. Shout out the Pelicans. Now, I'd like to look at a comment real quick. Before I shout out my boy Stank, who just came to the Twitch stream, I just want to show you guys a comment in the TikTok stream. Hopefully this convinces all of you beautiful people in the TikTok to leave that stream and come to the Twitch stream. This guy said a comment. If you don't win the championship, it means nothing. So, because the Pistons have been bad for 17 years, I'm not allowed to be excited that they're the number one team in the East. I want you guys to all, though that's the people that you're hanging out with in the TikTok stream. The only thing that matters is a championship, apparently. Fans, you heard him. You heard him. You're not allowed to celebrate anything in life, only if you win a championship. So, TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to leave that stream and come to the Twitch. Get involved with the conversation. Get involved with actual ball knowledge. Get involved with people that know the sport of basketball and enjoy the sport of basketball. Shout out to my boy Stank, who left the TikTok stream and came through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you, Stank, and I hope to see more of y'all. The Twitch link is in my bio. If you come to 3 streams in a row, I'll gift you a sub so that you no longer get ads. Okay? I do that for everybody. That goes for podcast listeners. That goes for TikTok viewers. That goes for YouTube viewers. If you go to 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a sub so that you no longer get ads. Let's move on. Hopefully they come through to the Twitch. I can't sell it anymore. Hopefully they come through to the Twitch. Let's start off with my number one loser of the weekend, guys. The Cleveland Cavaliers. My God. Okay, I touched base on them earlier. Okay? Out of their last 3 games, they've lost 2 out of their 3, and they're not playing well. If you guys have watched any of these Cavs games, man, they lost to the Warriors. You might be thinking, oh, that's an okay loss. It's the Warriors. You know, Curry goes crazy. You know, no, actually, there was no Curry. In fact, there was no Curry. There was no Jimmy Butler. There was no Draymond Green. There was no Seth Curry. There was no DeAnthony Melton. There was no Al Horford. There was whoever the hell LJ Cryer is. He wasn't there. They lost to Pat Spencer, Quinton Post, and Guy Santos. And then last night, for the 8th time in NBA history, a team went scoreless in overtime. For the 8th time in NBA history, they scored 0 in overtime. Now, I got to take a quick pause. Podcast listeners, I hope you guys all understand. I'd like to give special shout outs to everybody that just left the TikTok stream and came through to the Twitch. You guys just made the best decision of your month. Okay? I'd like to give special shout outs to Dougie, Court, Girthy, and Take Flight Nola for not only following the Twitch stream, but also subscribing at a tier 1 to give himself no ads. And for anybody that just came through to the Twitch saying, I hope to not see 40 ads, I have ads at the absolute minimum they can possibly be. And if you watch for 3 streams straight on the Twitch, I gift you a sub so that you don't get ads for 30 days, okay? So I'm doing what I can to help you out because you're helping me out by making your life better by coming into the Twitch stream. Shout out to my boy. I want to read these comments as well. Here from TikTok, from Michigan, and I love the new Pistons no matter what. Dougie, I miss being in Detroit purely for my Pistons. Shout out to you. I got my Cade Cunningham jersey right there. They're my team. They've always been my team. If you enjoy watching the Pistons style of basketball, then you don't know ball. Congrats. The Pistons get called for the most fouls every single game in the NBA. So the Pistons have the worst whistle in the NBA. Girthy, I'm assuming you're a Hawks fan, right? That's what I'm going to just assume. Let's go ahead and move on about our losers. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been playing so bad, right? And I just want to show y'all. I got to show y'all, man. I got to show y'all. I've been telling you guys all season long that the Cavaliers are really going to miss Caris LeVert. Now, they traded Caris LeVert to the Hawks involved for that DeAndre Hunter trade. And a lot of people were telling me, a lot of people were texting me that DeAndre Hunter was their missing piece in the starting lineup. And I said, you guys don't watch DeAndre Hunter. In case you guys don't know, DeAndre Hunter is not a starter. He's not a starting player in the NBA. He's not. When he starts, he's horrible. When he's off the bench, he thrives. That has been the story of DeAndre Hunter in the NBA. He is not a starter. He is a spark plug. DeAndre Hunter if he wanted, could be a 6-man of the year every single year. He could literally compete for Lou Will and Jamal Crawford for getting all those 6-mans. Because off the bench as a spark plug, this guy is a monster. But on this, as a starter, I can't get behind it. I got to be honest, everybody. I got to be honest. And please do not throw tomatoes when I say this. Y'all fired JB Bickerstaff way too freaking soon. Kenny Atkinson cannot maintain this ship. He's lost their team. Have you seen the body language of some of these players on the court? Just pay attention to the body language of some of these players, okay? Because I'm seeing Darius Garland. I'm seeing Lonzo Ball. I'm seeing Donovan Mitchell. Dude, Donovan Mitchell post-game is talking about, I'm not allowed to have bad games. Bro, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're allowed to have bad games. What are you talking about? And he said, for us to win, I cannot have bad games. And I've said it a million times. Donovan Mitchell has to score 35 points every game for a chance at winning. The Cavs have only won 4 games this season that Donovan Mitchell hasn't scored 35 minimum. Why does he need to do this? Why is he being forced to do this during the regular season? And I don't want to hear it from Cavs fans talking about if we had Max Strus, we'd be good. I can't hear this anymore. I cannot continue to hear this comment because you're sounding extremely embarrassing. Can you imagine the Oklahoma City Thunder said, if we had Aaron Wiggins, we'd be winning these games? Because that's the equivalent of a Max Strus. Aaron Wiggins. Hell, maybe I would take Cason Wallace over Max Strus. The Thunder were missing so many players. So many players, right? So many. Okay? By the way, if you bring drama and you come into the Twitch chat to talk shit, you're getting banned. I'm just letting y'all know. We all love basketball around here. If you have a personal vendetta against the team, don't come crying to me, bro. Go cry to the TikTok stream. The Twitch chat is nothing except people who enjoy basketball. Okay? We're only allowed to make fun of 3 teams around my community. That's the Clippers, that's the Bulls, that's the Kings. Okay? So if you are insulted by another team playing basketball, go cry to somebody in the TikTok stream because the Twitch stream does not have time for you. Okay, so let's continue, man. You're missing Max Strus. You cannot give these excuses. You have Donovan Mitchell. You have Darius Garland. You have had Evan Mobley. You have had multiple people on this team who have been all-stars, right? What are you going to tell me next, that we're missing Sam Merrill? Respectfully, Sam Merrill is not that much of a game changer. Look at all the teams who are missing all of these players. Nobody's using an excuse that they're missing a 5th option in a starting lineup. Something is wrong with this team, and I gotta believe it's the system. I don't think Kenny Atkinson can maintain this ship any longer. I just don't think so. I don't think so. So, with all of this being said, I've been preaching that the Cavaliers are going to get it clicking again. And I've been preaching that this is the game. This is the game that they're going to lose, and they're going to use it as fuel. I said that 3 weeks ago. I said that 2 weeks ago. I've been saying that this week. And I want to acknowledge this comment in the Twitch stream because I think it's very important. My man Court Perp said, check Merrill and Strus's averages and use the same argument you did with Deuce and Shane being gone for the Knicks. Now, Shamit, right. Court, I would like you to understand one thing. Max Strus hasn't played this year for y'all. He hasn't even been in training camp. So they knew they were without him. Okay. The Knicks lost Shamit and they lost Deuce McBride. They had them during training camp. They had them during the practice. They were used to having them and then they lost them. So that is a bigger excuse. You guys haven't had Sam Merrill or Max Strus all season long. So these cannot be your excuses as a team. Besides, you are comparing 2 role players to another 2 role players. That should not impact your team this significantly to be 1 game or 3 games above 500. That is not the same thing. Yeah, there's no playing devil's advocate for the situation because they are missing those players. I'm going to read my man Dark's comment in the Twitch stream because he is a Cavs fan. He said, I can't clearly tell you all the team is just not clicking. They could have 0 injuries all season and still be in the same position they are right now. And I fully agree. I fully agree. I think if they had everybody, because bro, I'm sorry, but you're talking about Sam Merrill and Max Strus. They still have Donovan Mitchell. They still have Evan Mobley, who I was told should have got drafted ahead of Cade Cunningham. That's what I was told. I've been told that this month, that people believe if that draft were to be redrafted, they would take Evan Mobley over Cade Parker Cunningham. That's just asinine. Bleacher Report posted that, just so we're all clear. Bleacher Report posted that 3 weeks ago, that in a redraft, Evan Mobley would be going number 1. The Cleveland Cavaliers are my number 1 loser of the weekend. I'm sorry, but if you're relying on Max Strus and Sam Merrill to beat the Golden State Warriors with Pat Spencer being their star player and the Charlotte Hornets, you're worried about a lot of things wrong. Let's talk about my next loser of the weekend. This episode is dragging, so we gotta move through this, y'all. My next loser of the weekend is the Orlando Magic. Sorry to my Magic fan. We have one Magic fan. Sorry to my Magic fan, but I'm sorry. I've told y'all night and day, Paolo Banchero cannot be your number 1. And the longer you're without Franz, the longer I'm worried about you. That's why I'm telling you to get on your knees, go to your bed, and pray, because all you're trying to do now is stay afloat until Franz gets back, because I cannot see the success on this team without Franz Wagner. You guys have been talking, Magic fans in particular, have been talking so much smack to every team in the NBA after barely beating some of these teams that they've been talking to. After barely beating the Pistons, barely beating the Knicks, barely beating any of these teams, the Heat. They've been talking so much, right? And I want Magic fans to be happy. I want them to be happy. But my issue is you guys keep bringing this upon yourselves. You guys keep talking like you're this dynasty that have proven so many things, but you guys are 15-11. Oh, we're blame it on health. Blame it on health. I understand that. I get it. First of all, I think Jace Richardson should be playing way more minutes. The politics of the NBA suck because Jace Richardson should absolutely be playing way more minutes. As a non-biased fan, a fan of basketball, I need Jace Richardson to be playing way more. I need Jonathan Isaac to get fired from a cannon, because I can't watch Jonathan Isaac play. Oh, but he's great at defense. No, he's not. Yeah, maybe 3 years ago. The Orlando Magic need Franz Wagner. Because, I mean, here's the biggest scary point that I'm going to mark for my Magic fans, okay? Here's my biggest worry about you guys. You guys won the 3-point battle, 13-7. You guys hit 6 more threes than the New York Knicks and lost this game. The Magic are a bottom 3 3-point shooting team in the NBA. Bottom 3 team at shooting in the NBA. And yet y'all won shooting-wise. Y'all hit more threes. I mean, to be fair, you attempted a lot more. You guys took 42 threes. A team with no shooting should not be attempting 42 threes. Genuinely. And I have been seeing some comments in the TikTok stream saying that the Magic are better without Franz. Holy moly, you know nothing about the sport of basketball. I can't believe I'm reading that. TikTok, get away from the idiots over there and come through to the Twitch stream. Please and thank you. You're making yourselves look bad the longer you guys hang out in there. Listen, the Magic, when they get healthy, right? I don't know how long Suggs is going to be out, but now you're missing Franz and now you're missing Suggs. So I would be worried. I would be worried. I would be very, 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 very worried. Magic, we'll see what happens. And by the way, guys, I gotta be honest, man. I was rooting for the Magic hard. But then my one Magic viewer started talking smack to me. Started disrespecting my Pistons. Literally said that he's preying on the Pistons' downfall when the Pistons haven't been good in 17 years. And now my vibe is completely went back to what it was. They're making it very hard for me to root for the Orlando Magic because of how cocky that they're behaving right now. Like, even me as a Pistons fan, I'm not cocky at all with how the Pistons are playing. I am pointing out every flaw that they have in the dictionary. I get frustrated when I watch the Pistons because I know what they should be doing and what they're not doing. But Magic fans, they're just talking smack to every single franchise in the NBA right now. I don't know why, especially on Twitter. Magic fans have been on a whole nother level. So that's why they're my second loser of the weekend. They lost and now they're eliminated out of the NBA Cup. NBA Cup doesn't matter. Let's move on to my final loser of the weekend, the Golden State Warriors. This one goes without saying, y'all. This one goes without saying. First of all, before we get into that, I'd like to give 2 more special shout outs. Hopefully more shout outs if more people come through to the Twitch. Funko and Sensei Trey, thank you guys for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Awarf, I hope to see you come through. I see that you're a Pistons fan or a Cade fan. At least come through to the Twitch stream as well. Funko came in and said, came from TikTok, love the Lakers and what they've been doing, what they've been up to, but there are things that I wish were different. Bro, I absolutely agree. There's a lot of things I wanted to talk about the Lakers, but I know I didn't have time today. I know I didn't have time. All I noticed was Luka is not playing any lick of defense whatsoever. Last night, they deserved to lose that game. I'm just saying that. I haven't talked about it. But last night, they deserved to lose that game. Luka complaining and 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 complaining for each and every foul call and not getting back on defense, bro. And he was also like, it was one of the most disgusting stat lines I've ever seen ever. Now, anyways, the Golden State Warriors, honestly, I would pick the Lakers as my loser of the weekend if they don't win that game. You already know. Because that stat line was horrendous. The Warriors lost 2 games over the weekend, guys. One against Minnesota and one against Portland last night. And I was watching both those games. Both of which were with Curry. He had 39 points against the Timberwolves, and they lost. Last night, he hit, I believe, 12 threes off the dome, 12 threes. 12 threes, he had 48 points, and they lost. The Golden State Warriors, I have a bad feeling that, wow, we're looking at a Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant ending to his career, guys. Anybody else? Can y'all talk me out of this bad vibe that I'm feeling? I'm feeling a Dirk Nowitzki and Kobe Bryant. Anybody else? I'm genuinely feeling that. And it's sort of making me sick to my stomach because Curry has way too much left in the tank. Curry has way too much left in the tank to be losing these type of games. I can't. He was playing so well. And then he smoked that layup at the end of the game. He released it a little too soon. It bounced off the rim and rolled off. And then he missed another 3 and then another 3. So, yeah, I hate this. I hate what I'm seeing right now. He's averaging 30 points right now. He's averaging 30 and they still can't buy a win. They fall to 13 and 14. I got to be honest as well. This whole Kuminga story is really making me dislike Steve Kerr. Anybody else? I'm really not liking Steve Kerr this year. Last year, he was pissing me off, but this year, he's really pissing me off. Y'all just gave him 2 years. I think the second year is a team option. Y'all forced him to take a pay cut, okay? Y'all forced him to take a pay cut thinking that he was going to play. And then guess what? He's not playing again. Why didn't you just let him walk? Why did you not just let him walk? Why'd you have to just bring him back to not play him? Do you really think any other team in the NBA other than like the Bulls and like the Kings would trade for him? Today, you're allowed to make trades today with certain players. Kuminga, not today. Kuminga is not until January 15th. But you're allowed to trade most players now, starting today, just not players who were signed to restricted free agents. You have to wait until January 15th. It's Steve Kerr's been pissing me off this year, man. If we had more Warriors fans, I'd love to see what they have to say about Steve Kerr. Obviously, not to discredit what he did for this franchise in all those years, but I'm not enjoying what they're doing with Kuminga. Solo thinks there's a conspiracy here that they believe that they already agreed to a trade and that they just don't want him to get hurt. That's what the homie Solo's saying, and I don't know. I think I have to agree because there's not really another option here. I just don't understand why he's not playing. Steve Kerr was saying like something about how they need the ball to swing. They need the ball to like move around and that he's a ball stopper. Bro, at least he was putting the ball in the hoop. Like, let's just look at his stats. Like, okay, from 3, he's not shooting well. 32%. Okay, actually, he's not shooting well at all. Huh. Okay, well, I might have just, hey, I don't know. Also, real quick, Jimmy Butler, thoughts? Jimmy's already sick of Golden State, eh? Hey, Miami, shout out to y'all, man. You guys got out of that. Well, you guys are still on a 4-game losing streak, but wow, this is not looking good. Jimmy Butler is not, He might have lost his joy again. He might have lost his joy again after they just gave him way too much money. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I've been preaching that he was a cancer to a locker room, and here he goes. Here he goes again. There's a reason why he hasn't won, man. There's a reason he hasn't won. Special shout outs to French Daddy and a Wharf, my goat. Shout out to both of you guys for leaving the TikTok streams and coming through to the Twitch stream. Much appreciated. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully we can get a couple more leaving the TikTok. Guys, this has been over an hour-long episode. Somebody mentioned another comment. I think it was Dark. He said, speaking of people not playing, what's going on with Tingus Pingus? He was diagnosed with POTS. I don't understand what that disorder is, but the Celtics made out. The Celtics traded him, and, you know, the Hawks took a risk. The Hawks knew that he was dealing with this disorder called POTS. I don't know what the severity is. I don't know what it is. Liam in the Twitch chat said that he has it. I don't know what it is, but he's just not playing. So shout out to the Celtics for trading him. Apparently he can faint randomly because his blood pressure can drop. Okay, it's a condition where your heart rate increases quicker than normal people. He might have to retire. I would not want to see Tingus Pingus go down like that, man. I don't want to see him go down like that. Benna, I'll get to you in a second. And a Wharf, shout out to you again for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. Honestly, we rambled a lot about a lot. This was sort of a jam-packed episode. I hope you guys did enjoy weekend and winners and losers. We dove deep today. We really dove deep into the winners and losers. We really did. And honestly, we left a lot on the table. There were some more losers. There were some more winners that I could have picked up. There were some honorable mentions out there, but I think we got into it, man. I think we got into it. Twitch chat, nobody go anywhere. Nobody go anywhere. Twitch chat, stick around. TikTok, YouTube, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. I appreciate y'all very, very much. We are still live on Twitch, okay? So TikTok, YouTube, be sure, now's your time. Do what the homie Slime just did and swing on into the Twitch stream. What's the Twitch stream? Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. I hope to see you guys come through like my homie Slime just did. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Again, Twitch, nobody go anywhere. I got nothing left to say, y'all, except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching / listening. Be sure to swing on into the Twitch, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I'll catch y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a beautiful day, everybody.